Hello and welcome to Fresh Perspectives. My name is Gail, and today I am going to be my own guest on Fresh Perspectives because I'm going to do an episode on belly dancing, and first I am going to say a little bit about myself and how I was led up to this. When I was a little girl in the 1950s and my family got our first TV, I fell in love with dancing and tried to follow when I saw people performing dance on television. Sometimes there would be a scene in a program or movie where a belly dancer would perform in a beautiful costume. This was the kind I was most drawn to. Unfortunately, there were no classes available for me to take at that time. I started practicing yoga at age 25, and 25 years later, at age 50, I found out I could get instructional videos to learn belly dance, so I got some to use. A couple years later, I found there was a belly dance class I could take at the Chautauqua Institution. So I took that and have been dancing ever since, and it's a lot of fun. I'm going to say a little bit about belly dance. It is believed that belly dance originated thousands of years ago. Some of the dance moves come from Egypt, and others came from the Roma gypsies from India and gradually spread through Asia, Northern Africa, and finally Europe. Finally, a group of women from Morocco came to the World's Fair in Chicago in 1893 to perform. The most famous one of these dancers was named Little Egypt. Americans considered this very scandalous and called it the dance of the stomach. Actually, the real names of this dance originally were, one of the names was Rock Sharky, and the other one, Dance Oriental. And honestly, when people were dancing, they would have their bodies completely covered in caftans. Those midriff-bearing costumes that you see on performers doing belly dance nowadays, that was just something that the producers of movies and things dreamed up. While I show you a variety of the dance moves, there will not be music playing as I normally would have while practicing because of the copyright laws, and we cannot play recorded music at this 501c3 nonprofit studio. The only music you will be hearing during my presentation today will be when I show you how to use finger cymbals for the basic, for some basic Middle Eastern rhythms on those. Finger cymbals are called zils in Turkish, and sagat in Arabic, and in another language they're called kimbala. Okay, so now I will get up and start showing you some of the basic. First I wanted to show these books. You can get books on the subject of belly dance that you can read. This one is The Way of the Belly by Nina and Vina Bidasha. They're a set of identical twins that are belly dancers. they got interested in it when they were teenagers. And this book includes an instructional DVD with it. So that would be one that would be good to get if you wanted to. And then this is a book called Belly Dancing, The Sensual Art of Energy and Spirit. And it's by Pina Colaccia, Annette Pafrath, and Jean Putz. And I hope I pronounced their names correctly. So now I can show you some of the different moves. You might want to, if you were going to decide you wanted to learn belly dance, you would want to get at least one of these. And they don't come in just black. They come in a variety of different colors. You can get all of your belly dance costuming and other things by going on the internet. You can find it by going to www.bellydance.org. So now I will start showing you some of the moves. And before, if you were going to decide to learn belly dance, first you would want to do some warm-up exercises. And for maybe 15 minutes, you could go for a walk or do some gentle yoga stretches. And I feel like I'm warmed up enough. So I am going to start, and I'm going to start at the top of my body, which is my head. And I'm going to show you how to do head slides. You can hold your arms like this underneath your chin. And with head slides, you just slide the head back and forth without turning it to the right, or not tilting it downwards. So that's just sliding back and forth and trying to keep the head level. And then you could also do a crossed arm movement where you go from side to side, from point to point, with the hands being the points. And what might be even easier is to have your arms in what's called temple arms and slide back and forth. Okay, now I like to do some shoulder rolls. These feel really good, where you come up and around and back. And then we'll move down to what is called shoulder shimmies. And what you do is, what you're going to do is move one shoulder back while the other shoulder comes to the front, and do it the same on the opposite, where first you're going back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. Remembering to keep it like a line through your shoulders, where one shoulder comes back out at once at the one time, and then when it goes back, the other one comes to the front. But they're moving in those directions continuously. And then when you get the hang of that, you start doing it really, really fast. And that's called shoulder shimmies. The next move I'm going to show you is snake arms. Snake arms is where you start to lift the shoulder and then the elbow and then finally the wrist, and then lower the shoulder, the elbow, and then the wrist. And on the other side, and reverse, always remembering that the elbow comes up before the wrist and hand. And then when you get the hang of doing that, then you lift one arm as the other is going down. And then you can step out with one foot a little bit and lean to the sides. And sometimes you can do the snake arms where you do both arms at the same time. One of the videos that I bought years ago, it shows the dancer, it shows like she has like 3 or 4 arms on each side. It's something they do with the camera, I think. There are a lot of different arm positions you can do. One of them is called, which goes good with hip drops, it's called serpent arms. And then there's Aladdin arms with both hands on the back of the head, like this, like as if you're laying on a big pillow. These are called harem arms. And you can cross your arms across your chest like this. This is known as mummy arms. Okay, those are some of the different arm positions that you can use. And then we're going to do rib slides. You're going to find out while watching me today that there are a lot of different things that our human bodies are supposed to be able to do, but most people don't know it. But I think you might be a little surprised when you see some of this. Rib slides, side to side. You can slide your rib cage back and forth. You know, just a horizontal rib slide. And then there's a forward and backward rib slide where you push your rib cage out and then pull it back. And then there are rib circles, where I will start out by pushing the rib cage forward, to the side, back, and side. Front, side, back, and side. And then round it out. And then you can go to the other side. This one will be kind of like I'm drawing a circle on the wall in front of me, where I will go side, lift, side, drop, side, lift, side, drop, and then round that off. And then you want to learn to do it in both, do all of these moves in both directions. I'm going to take a peek at my notebook here to see what I was going to do next. Okay. In belly dance, if you look into it, you will find there is a lot of hip action in belly dance. And I'm going to start out with hip slides, where you slide the hips to the left and the right, trying to keep the hips level. And then you can do some arm movements while you're doing this. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is something called ummies. It's kind of a hip circle, but all you're doing is rotating your hips around the base of your spine. So I will go front, side, back, side, front, side, back, side. And this is what it looks like without the corners when you round it off. And then you want to do it in the other direction too. Front, left, back, side. Front, left, back, side. Front, left, back, side. And then round it out. And this is called ummies. Okay. Then we're going to do hip circles that are a little wider, where you would this is different because you're not just rotating your hips around the base of your spine, you're going in an entire circle. And then the opposite direction. And you can do half circles, where you move your hip out and then you go around and around. And you can also do a circle and a half. That's where you do a complete circle and then half a circle. A complete circle in the other direction and half a circle. And then there is something called a full circle, where you step out with one foot to the side, and this is going to be really wide. You're actually going to be circling your hips outside the plane of your body. in the other direction too. Okay, and then there's an arm movement that really looks nice with this. It's where when you get to the back, you can do this crossing arm movement. And another thing you can do with a full circle, which is kind of nice, is when you, as you're coming around, you can do what's known as heel taps. Heel taps are kind of a nice move where you come up on your toes and then down with your heels. And you can do something that's called a bouncing shimmy just by going up and down for a little while. That's known as a bouncing shimmy. Hip drops. Okay, hip drops. Now, an arm movement that goes really good with the hip drops is serpent arms. And in order to drop your hips, you have to lift them up a little bit first and then drop down with your knees slightly bent. And then get to going a little faster. And then there's a little addition. I hope I'm going to be able to do this. It's called the hip drop kick. It's where you do every other hip drop, you kick out your foot. And it's like hip, drop, hip, kick, hip, drop, hip, kick, hip, drop, hip, kick, and so forth. So that is quite interesting. Now I'm going to show you, there's a lot of things you can do with your hips. I'm going to show you a variety of different figure eights. Okay, now for the basic figure eight, you drop down a little, push your hip out to the side, lift it up, and bring it in and down. Okay, up, no, wait, that's wrong. Down, out, up, together. Down, out, up, together. Down, out, up, together. Down, out, up, together. And then you round it off always once you get the hang of that. So this is a figure eight. Okay, now there's a reverse figure eight where you do go in the opposite direction. And the name of that particular move is Maya's. And what you do is first you lift your hip and go out with it. And on the other side, where you're, instead of going down and around, you're going up and around. Okay, so it's like this. This is a lot of fun, actually. And then there are horizontal figure eights, which are like you're drawing a figure eight on the floor. And that is where you turn the one hip out and then go around and back, around. And you can do some arm movements like this. And then you can do it in the opposite direction, where you come from the back and around. Okay, now I'm going to turn to the side. You always use your arms to frame your body. They're usually not covering the body. They're out of the way. And this figure eight comes up and around and forward and around. Okay, now there's another thing you can do from the side view that some belly dancers refer to it as bicycle hips. And that is where you just bring your hip around in a circle. And it kind of looks like you're riding a bicycle. And now I'm going to show you the two basic kinds of shimmies. The first one is called the Egyptian shimmy. And you start out by bending your knees one at a time, and then gradually pick up speed until you're going really, really, really fast. The first time I saw a belly dancer do that, I thought she was trembling. So that is very, very fast. And the only way you can accomplish these hip shimmies is by being very relaxed. I'm not sure I'm very relaxed right now because I'm doing this on television. And then there's the Lebanese shimmy, which is that the movement starts out in the hips with the Egyptian shimmies. With the Lebanese shimmies, you can put your fingertips on your hips. The Lebanese shimmy, the movement starts out in the hips. You might hear some jingling and jangling going on because I'm wearing this hip scarf with all the jingles and jangles on them. Okay, and another kind of a shimmy that you can do is called twisting shimmy. And first you're learning to bring your hip forward. And you do it, practice on the other side. And then go back and forth until your hips are twisting very fast. Kind of makes me think of those Hawaiian dancers. And camels. Camels was the other move I wanted to show you. Camels, I'm going to stand to the side so that you can see how it's done. And what it is you bring the sternum forward and then up and then back and down, and then the hips come out and back. I don't know if I'm positioned right to show this to you. Now, I wanted to show you some things with the finger symbols. I've had people tell me they thought that belly dancers had a symbol on each hand, but in reality, there's just two on each hand. One goes on the thumb, and the other one goes on the middle finger. Now, these are made of metal, and you use elastics. They have 2 slots in the top of each one, and you buy elastics. You can get it at places where they sell things for sewing. I got my elastics at Joann Fabrics a long time ago before they went out of business. And you want to make sure that the elastics are tight so they don't go flying off of your hands while you're performing. And the first one, well, because that could be dangerous. You don't want those flying around and hitting people or anything. And then I'm going to show you the basic four. And it goes like this. It's basically a right, left, right rhythm. I'm not sure why it's called the basic four, is because the first one starts out on the right, and the last one, when you're finishing, ends on the right. But otherwise, it's like 3 beats. It's right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right. Okay, the second one I'm going to show you is called Bellady. And Bellady goes right, right, left, right, 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 left, right, 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 left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right. Okay, that's shift-a-telly. The next rhythm is called bolero. It's okay. The last one is called shift-a-telly. It's one you do with slow dances. Okay, it goes. After you play that much of the cymbals, you stop playing and you go and you think and hold and. And hold and at that point is just when the dancer and the drummer don't play. And hold and. And hold and. And hold and. And hold and. So that is pretty much it. Now, with the ringing sound, which I've been doing, is you just have the middle fingers on the zill. But there's a couple of other sounds you can make with your cymbals, but for those you place the 2 more fingers on the zill. And it makes more of a flat sound instead of a ringing. And then there's one other, and that is where you place the zills between the thumb and the index finger. You still have these fingers all on the top zill, and it's where you tap the edge. This one's a little more challenging to do. Okay, well, that was my finger cymbal demonstration. I will put these back here. And then belly dancers also learn to dance with a veil. This one is silk. A veil for belly dancers is a sheer piece of fabric that's 3 yards long. And I've got a couple of them with me. That one is silk. This one is 100% cotton. It has sequins on it. I don't really like sequins. I've often thought about taking them off, but never seem to quite get around to it. And I'm going to attempt to show you something called turban veil, although the other day when I was practicing at home, the veil and my hair were not cooperating really well. So I hope I can make it work now. And that is where you bring it around like this. This is called turban veil. It seems to be working now. As you can see, okay, you can bring the veil behind yourself. Remember that it has to be very long. If you go on the internet thinking you want to buy a belly dance veil, do not type in veil, just the word veils, because what's going to come up is bridal veils and all kinds of things like that. You want to type in the word belly dance veils. And there are things you can do like step out. And then you can do a figure eight. Figure eights with your veil. Like you can go like that. And then you can do what's called a Latin veil. And then I keep accidentally looking at the monitor instead of the camera. Let's see, and then there's caravan veil. No. And there's a lot of different things you can do with the veils. I'm going to get this one here. Do you remember earlier in the episode, I showed you how to do the camel? And this, the camel, really, you can bring it up like this and do it with the camel. And you can do turns with a veil. One thing I wanted to show you was there's one belly dancer whose DVD that I've used. Her name is, she goes by the name of Dolphina, and she does something she calls the whirlpool, where she goes like this. This is a really fun veil movement to do. And you can do turns with it. There's a turn I'd like to show you. I don't know how it will work because I'm not doing not showing you a lot of traveling steps, because like when we did in some episodes like on yoga and like that, you can't get very far. But you can do turns. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, so that's just a bunch of different things you can do with veils, and it's really very interesting. You can bring it together like this and bring it over your head and then bring it down with just your eyes showing to look out at the audience. It's really a lot of fun. It's really good exercise. Belly dance is. It gives you all of the different kinds of exercise. It gives you cardiovascular, weight bearing, and balance. So it's really good for you. And when you're doing the shimmies, you're increasing circulation throughout your entire body. When you're playing the finger cymbals, you're not just exercising your hands, but you're exercising your entire arm. And there's just so many benefits. And as you probably figured out by now, it helps you be more flexible, because then you can do all of these different things with your body that you never knew you were supposed to be able to do. So there are some more tidbits. Oh yeah, I did want to mention that, let me see. I did want to mention that there you can get instructional videos, instructional DVDs, and the books I already showed you. The first one I want to mention, these are ones I'm going to mention that are good for beginners. It's Bellydance Fitness for Beginners with Vina and Nina Bidasha. The next one I want to mention is Amira's Bellydance 101. And another good beginner's one is called Flex Appeal, with a famous just fitness instructor named Kathy Smith. And she teams up with a few other belly dancers to do an instructional DVD. So I think if you wanted to try learning, those would all be good ones, good starter ones to begin with. And there's all kinds of music CDs on the subject that you can get just to have music to dance with when you're not using an instructional DVD. So I'm going to mention with the last few minutes that I have here some other things, like a lot of people, they're like myths. A lot of people think that belly dance was invented to entertain men. But in reality, back in ancient times when these were being developed, women and men were segregated quite a bit. Like maybe they spent time with their husbands, but they didn't spend time in the company of other men, like in this day and age when we can hang around with anybody we want to. Women spent time by themselves. Some of the time it was in harems. And what women did was they invented belly dance so that as a way to entertain, for each other, as a way to entertain themselves, something for them to do. And another myth is, and I'm not sure, not everybody thinks this, and I'm not sure where they got the idea, but some people think belly dancers are strippers, which they are not. They're just doing something that they love doing, and there's a big group of women now that travel around the world together, and they're known as the belly dance superstars. And it's very, very interesting to watch any of their performances. So, do either one of you two guys want to throw out a question to me, my cameraman and my tech guy? Is there anything you'd like to ask? Well, they're silent, so I guess they don't want to ask. But it is really, really a lot of fun, and belly dance costumes are so beautiful. So if you ever get to go to a professional belly dance performance, go ahead and do it. I wish they'd have the belly dance superstars come to the Chautauqua Institution sometime. I would definitely go to that.
Should there be a cool down exercise?
Yeah, there should be warm-ups and cool downs. Like with warming up to begin with, you could go for a walk or do some gentle yoga stretches. For a cool down, yes, you would do some cool down exercises first before when you're getting finished. Well, I'll just show a couple of things like there's pliés. And the shoulder rolls that I showed you earlier are good warm-up ones. The pliés are good for cool-down dances too. Another one that is sometimes done is like this. You know, slower movements, not fast dancing. You could probably even do what people who practice yoga do. You could probably lay down on the floor in dead man's pose, like in yoga too, for at least 5 minutes afterwards. It is a good idea because I guess you can faint if you don't cool down before going back to normal activity after exercising and so forth. Well,
Water, right?
Drink water, definitely drink water, yes. So, well, do you have any more questions or shall I sign off? Okay, well, I guess we've come to the end of another episode of Fresh Perspectives, and I will see those of you in the viewing audience when I do the next episode. Thank you.